There are moments in life when you feel completely unqualified, too small, too weak, or too ordinary to make any real difference. This is the story of a man who felt exactly that way. His name? Gideon. And yet God used him to lead one of the most unlikely victories in history. Gideon lived during a dark time. The Israelites were under constant attack by the Midianites, ruthless raiders who stole their crops and left them with nothing. People were scared, hungry, hiding in caves, and Gideon, well, he was threshing wheat in a winepress, basically a pit in the ground, so the enemy wouldn't see him. It wasn't a picture of courage. Suddenly the angel of the Lord appeared and said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Gideon responded, "Mighty warrior? Are you talking to me? Look at me, I'm the least in my family, and my family is the weakest clan in all of Israel." But God saw something Gideon couldn't see. The angel said, "Go in the strength you have, I will be with you, and you will strike down the Midianites." Gideon wasn't so sure. He asked for a sign, proof that this was really God speaking, and God gave it. Fire consumed his offering right before his eyes. Still, Gideon's fear lingered. That night, God gave Gideon a mission. Tear down the altar to Baal, the false god your family worships, and build an altar to me instead. Gideon obeyed, but he was afraid. He did it at night when no one would see. The next morning the town was furious. Who did this, they demanded. But Gideon's father stood up for him, saying, "If Baal is really a god, let him defend himself." It was a small victory, but it was a start. The Midianites and their allies gathered for war, thousands upon thousands of soldiers. Gideon blew a trumpet, calling Israel to fight. 32,000 men showed up, but God had a surprise. "You have too many men. If you win, you'll think you did it by your own strength." Too many men? Gideon stared at the vast enemy army. But God told him, "Tell anyone who's afraid to go home." 22,000 men left, now only 10,000 remained, and then God said, "Still too many. Take them to the water. I'll show you who to keep." Gideon watched as the men drank. Those who knelt down to drink were sent home. Only 300 men stayed. 300. Against an army so large it couldn't be counted. Gideon's heart pounded. But God whispered again, "I will save you. I will be with you." That night, God gave Gideon one more sign to steady his heart. "If you're still afraid, go down to the enemy camp and listen." Gideon crept to the edge of the camp and overheard 2 Midianite soldiers talking. "I had a dream. A loaf of barley bread rolled into our camp and crushed us. It must mean Gideon will defeat us." Gideon's fear melted into worship. He bowed to the ground. "Thank you, Lord." He hurried back to his 300 men and whispered, "Get ready. God has given them into our hands." Armed with nothing but trumpets, clay jars, and torches, Gideon divided his men into 3 groups. At his signal, they smashed the jars, raised the torches high, and shouted, "For the Lord and for Gideon!" The Midianite camp exploded in chaos. Confused and terrified, the enemy soldiers turned on each other and fled. Israel won the battle that night. Not with strength, not with numbers, but with God's power. Gideon's story isn't about a fearless hero. It's about a man who doubted, who felt small, who struggled with fear, but who said yes to God anyway. And God showed that His strength is made perfect in our weakness. Maybe you feel unqualified. Maybe you feel outnumbered. But the same God who called Gideon calls you too. When life feels impossible, remember this. God doesn't wait for us to feel strong. He makes us strong as we trust Him. And like Gideon, you may just find that the thing you thought disqualified you is exactly where God's power will shine the brightest.